Hello creators, and welcome to the Tom Kearin video Bombshell Vault, where we revisit life-changing content from deep within our video archives. What you're about to hear isn't about trying to make someone think about you, forcing their attention, or doing anything to manifest them. This video reveals why attention, attraction, and obsession are never created through effort, repetition, or techniques, but through the identity you occupy. Because the moment you stop identifying as the one who is waiting, wondering, and hoping, they will think about you, and instead become the version of you who is already chosen, desired, and remembered. They have no choice but to reflect that. Not because you made it happen, but because they were always reflecting who you were being. Now, let's open the vault once again and revisit this paradigm-busting video that will change you and your life forever. Welcome back to the Tom Kearin video, Bombshell Vault. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Tom Kearin channel and studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning and welcome back to the Tom Kearin channel. I have a big video for you today. I want to start with a question that one of you had in terms of thinking about your SP, and then an email that I received from one of you that you believe that the situation with your specific person, the manifesting of your specific person, has gone south. So I want to show you how we're going to turn this around today. And so the first question was, Tom, if I'm thinking about my SP, my specific person, that we're together, that we're in love, is he thinking the same thing? In other words, am I transmitting thoughts to him? Well, we've talked about the idea of thought transmission. And remember, you're not really sending thoughts anywhere. Everything is here and now. And remember, there's only one divine mind, and you're thinking into it, and so isn't everybody else. Everyone's part of that one divine mind. There's really only one thought, the thought of God, the thought of love. One divine mind, one thought, in one time, right now. So you're experiencing that one moment in time, that one divine mind, that one thought of love from infinite perspectives or viewpoints or vantage points that we call finite experiences or finite minds. But there's no finite minds, they're just finite experiences of that one divine mind. So when you're thinking of your specific person, that you're in love, you're thinking from that idea of love and fulfillment, then yes, because there's only one mind. That version of your specific person, that version of you and your specific person together exists here and now, as well as all possible versions. So of course, they can't stop thinking about you. When you're thinking about that from the idea of love and fulfillment, they can't stop thinking about you because that's the version of you and your specific person together. It's not the other version that's maybe with a specific person or is married to somebody else. That's not the version you want. So, but if you're imagining and thinking about them from a state of lack and separation, that they're with another person, but you really want them to think of you and be together with you, then they're thinking about you, but they're thinking about, yeah, I don't want to be with that person. I want to be the one I'm with right now. Do you see it? You're creating that idea, a version of them that doesn't want to be with you, that wants to be with another person. So all possibilities exist. It's only one reality. It's only you. And there are infinite versions of you. It's you as all that is. One divine mind, the one divine mind of God, that one thought of love, that one now moment, experiencing it from these infinite, finite experiences that we call finite physical minds. But it's all you and you're the center. So I want to start there. One of the biggest things, really, that when we have so many stories, we've talked about all these stories where they have manifested their specific person, right? In circumstances that seem impossible, right? We've shared many of those, and we get a lot of emails. We also get stories where you haven't, which I'm going to share today, and we're going to really unpack that. But what's the difference? The difference is that the one that I'm going to share with you today, this person is focused on the version of events and circumstances that are not what she desires. Right? She sees her specific person married to another person. And she's trying to change that script, that reality that she doesn't prefer. That reality doesn't change. That version of him doesn't change. That version of events doesn't change. It's not your choice. It's not your choice of reality. You don't have to do anything with that. And just because it's showing up doesn't mean you haven't shifted. You're all that is. You can see all possibilities. You're just seeing the reality that you didn't choose. But the reality that you do choose is right there also. Move to that. Focus on that. That's what we're going to get at today, right? It's that idea that you're focused on one version of yourself and them, and you're trying to change that. And that keeps you perpetuating that same experience, that same type of reality. Remember, it's new in every moment, but you keep creating the same type of circumstances. There are infinite possibilities, and you're at the center of all of them. So I want to unpack this idea today and more. This person talked about it's been 2 years since things went south with their SP, so they're still telling the story, that they're still creating that idea right now, that 2 years ago it went south. Remember, there is no 2 years ago where it went south. She's creating that right now, that she's not with a specific person, that it went south. That's all created right now. Remember, you create it all right now. There's no past where it went south and it's still there, unless you put it there, right? And he decided to get married and married someone else a year ago. Again, that's a version of events, a version of reality that's not your choice. But you're saying that's who you are right now. You're that version of you where your SP chose somebody else. And that's created in the here and now moment. That's why nothing's changed. And day after day for 2 years, you kept telling that story. And that is your only reality. Right? There's only the now moment. And every now moment you were telling the story that he chose somebody else. But I'm going to try to shift and manifest them to be with me. That reality doesn't change. It's about you deciding who you are. Be that version for whom that you're choosing that specific person to be with you. And the one that's married, the one that chose someone else, is irrelevant because it's not your preferred reality. So, and then you said, I continue to remain positive, that I will shift. Well, it's not about remaining positive. It's not about positive thinking or positive feeling. And it's not about doing that until you shift. Do you see a persistence up until you got to shift? You got to be there now. Be that version of you now. It doesn't happen in the future. See, you were just waiting for something to shift out there. You were measuring it by what's going on out there. A reality and version of him in events that's not your choice. And you're saying, I haven't shifted if I'm still seeing that. Shift and you will see everything you want. So, and you said, this is just another reality, but I can choose and move to the reality where he wants me and is married to me. But you see that, no, that reality, yes, you can, but you're going to be there now. That other reality is irrelevant. It's not your choice. You're not in that reality. You are assuming that you're still in that reality where he doesn't choose you. You're not. You decided to be somebody else. You decided to move. Then you're in that reality unless you keep saying you're not. Unless you keep telling a story that, yeah, but he's still married. Yeah, in that reality, in that script, he'll always be married. That script doesn't change. All scripts are written, but there are infinite scripts, infinite possibilities that you can choose from. You don't change any part of God or any part of all that is, or any one possibility or any one script. You choose the one where he never got married, where he always wanted you. Or the one where he married and then chose you, but not that script where he's still married and will always be married. Do you see? And we had some sessions. She watched every video, and you attempted all the challenges, but that doesn't mean anything. Because you keep focusing on the reality that you don't want. You believe if you watch all the videos, if you get coaching with me, if you watch everything, if you watch all the other videos and other YouTube channels, get coaching from others, all of that somehow that you'll create that reality, but it's you. You're the one that decides. You move. There's nothing, it's all you, right? And you just kept focusing on, I haven't shifted yet, I've got to shift. And you're measuring it by looking out there and seeing him married in that reality that you don't desire. This is powerful today. I did it all, but yeah. And then you said, I watched your video where a person manifested her partner back who was divorced. Exactly. But what did they do? They didn't focus on the reality where they were divorced. They didn't focus on the reality that wasn't their preference. Do you see? That reality they knew couldn't be changed. That script was written. So they focused on being that version of them for whom and through whom their reality is real. That all versions exist. That's the difference, right? So you were just trying to feel better about things. And you said it gave me hope. And then I decided that I'm married to my SP, but it's not about getting hope from videos. It's about saying, I am that version of me that is married to my specific person. So that reality must form around me, but it's not that reality where he's still married. Do you see this? Because we're going to get to this in a few minutes. And then she said, but the next day came as a shock. My SP, who even though married was friends with me, said that we could no longer be in touch and blocked me. Yes, because he's married. That's not your choice. Those circumstances don't matter. After watching all those videos, right? I understand. I get it, guys. I've been there. Not no circumstances, but others similar. I've been there. I've been on this side where we believe the circumstances matter. They don't matter. It doesn't matter what he does in that script where he's married, that he blocks you and doesn't want, because you're believing that there's one version of him that you have to change or influence. And there are infinite versions. You're still focused on that one. That's why. That reality is totally irrelevant. But you keep making it relevant. You keep making it your reality, your script, your version of events. And that's why. Wow. That's powerful. So this was completely the opposite. Yes. It is opposite because it's not your choice. It's not your reality. So why focus on it? It's not happening to you. It's just happening. It's just out there as a possibility. And I would do nothing with that reality. Just because you're seeing it doesn't mean it's your choice. It's not your preference. Remember, you can see all. It's just showing you. Remember what that contrast is showing you. It's just showing you a reality that's not your choice. That's how you know that you're in the reality that you have chosen, because you can see what you didn't choose. How do you know you're all that is? Everywhere all at once, everything everywhere all at once, a simultaneous being, unless you can create the idea of things that are not your choice, that are not your preference. Create the contrast, the distinction between those realities. Put space between frames of experience, frames of reality. To know that, yeah, I am in that desired reality. All of those, from him blocking you to all of those ideas, that's all that was showing you, is that you've chosen a different reality, a different version of you, and that's no longer your preference. But in that moment, you're saying, well, wait a minute, that is my preference. I need to change it, though. I need to change him. I need to change these circumstances. Very powerful. So, and then you went on to say that you tried harder, right? You tried more processes. You filled up a dozen journals with affirmations, ho'oponopono for hours and hours. You imagined, you meditated, you did subliminals, has positive thoughts, tried to feel good. Exactly. We talk about all that. All that means nothing. It does nothing. You're like the paralyzed man at the pool of Bethesda. Yeah, I tried. Everyone was walking over me. I tried this. I tried that. But what are we saying to you? Your I am awareness. You only need me. What Jesus said to the paralyzed man, you only need the awareness of already being that person you desire to be, not of the realities and versions of events that you don't prefer. All that trying does nothing. All of that affirmations. And you say, I know what you will say, of course, because I'm looking for evidence in 3D. Well, not even that. Yes, don't look for evidence in 3D, but I'm not even saying that. You're way beyond that, right? It's not about looking for evidence in 3D. You're looking at 3D not for evidence, but as the evidence. Here's the distinction. Yeah, you shouldn't look for 3D for evidence of anything, because physical reality is not evidence, you are. And it will reflect that. The reflection, it will reflect who and what you're being. You're the evidence. The reflection's perfect. But I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that you're not looking for evidence. You're saying that is the evidence. That's the evidence that I haven't moved, right? So, and then you say, but isn't it experiencing it in 3D to point anyways? There you are. You're back in that. Remember, you experiencing reality as reality is the point. There is no 3D experience out there to experience. You keep putting it out there. Do you see? I really want to move you. It's not out there. It's you experiencing yourself as reality. That's the point. It's consciousness to be conscious of itself. That's what consciousness does. It's awareness being aware of itself. That's what awareness does. It's the livingness of life. That's what life does. That's what it's all about. Right? It's just coming from all this lack and separation from what you want. So that story, so now you know, right? And then you talked about all the emotional pain and that it's causing you to focus, hear this, to see your SP married and then blocking you. But that's not even a reality that you choose. That's not a preference of him or yourself. That's your choice. Why would that cause you anything? Do you see? You're identifying with that reality as your reality, as that version of you, the one where he's married and blocking you. And so you're feeling that as separation. But when you choose who you are, this could change right now for you. Absolutely. Right? And in this moment, decide that, you know what, the circumstances really don't matter. That reality of him as married, that's not my choice, the married guy. That's not my choice, the one who blocked me. That's not the version of me or him that I desire. And leave that and just be that best version of you, where you're choosing him, the version of him that's not married, the version of him that just loves you, adores you, because you adore you. Because you're the center of reality. Watch and everything will change. It's about you. You keep making it. This whole email was about him. Him blocking you, him being married, him being in that, him not changing, that reality not changing. Everything was out there. Bring it into who you are and everything will change right now. Just like the story that you referenced, the one who was divorced, how that all turned around. That's how, because your reality. Make it, remember, it's not about how or what or when or what you believe is going on out there. It's all you. Remember that fighting that reflection, trying to change that reflection is what's causing that, is what's causing all that exhaustion and pain that you're describing. Forget that and be that version of you for whom and through whom that reality is real, and everything will change overnight. Right? And yeah, he can't stop thinking about you. Right? That version of him that you choose, that version of you being that version of you who's married to him, who's the one that chooses you as well. He can't stop thinking about you, but you're thinking about the other guy. Do you see it? There's a version of him thinking of that ideal version of you that you haven't stepped into yet. When you step into that, then he can't stop thinking about you. You're going to know this, right? So leave that and be that best version of you. I am your host, Tom Kearin. This is the Tom Kearin channel and studios of Be Something Wonderful, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, be sure to check out our video on the Be Something Wonderful channel that we just dropped today, and join us for our live event later this month on March 23rd at 12 noon time Pacific, where I answer your questions as you ask them during the live event. This is Tom Kearin here in the studios at Be Something Wonderful on the Tom Kearin channel. Until next time, we'll see you soon.